Want to hear something trippy? You're almost completely made up of empty space. In fact, a lot of the matter around us is empty space. As in 99.9999999% of all the matter around us. It's a lot of nines.
That's so wild.
Here's the deal. Everything around us is made up of atoms, tiny particles with a nucleus surrounded by electrons. These tiny particles are filled with energy, but they are surrounded by quite a bit of empty space. If you took the empty space out of every human on Earth, you could compress the entire human population down to an object smaller than a sugar cube. Obviously, though, things still feel solid, right? The headphones you're wearing, the car you're driving in, the thing you're standing on or sitting in right now. And that's because of what's in that empty space. See, atoms aren't stagnant particles. They're filled with energy and surrounded by electrons that are constantly buzzing around in a sort of cloud. No two electrons can exist in the same space at the same time. That means that if you wanted to try and walk through a wall, which again is mostly empty space, your electrons and the wall's electrons would have to exist in the same space. So that's why it's impossible. Here's another way to think of it. Picture a fan with rapidly spinning blades. There could still be a lot of empty space between those blades, but it stays the same size. The space between the blades doesn't change in volume, but it does change in position. And it does so really quickly. So if you stick your hand in there, you're going to get whacked by the fan. Atoms work the same way. The orbiting electrons resist being pushed out of their orbits. That's why the empty space inside atoms can't be filled with other atoms. There's one more reason why you can't fit one atom into another atom, though, and that comes down to quantum mechanics, our favorite topic here. Electrons are known as point sources, or a source of energy that has a negligible dimension. This means electrons have no volume, but they do have a wave function whose energy occupies the space. And thanks to the laws of quantum mechanics, that wave function doesn't just occupy one point, it's everywhere in the empty space at the same time. Basically, that means that if you're gripping your phone or your steering wheel right now, you're not actually touching it. What you're feeling and interpreting as touch is actually just the electromagnetic force from the electrons in your atoms pushing back against the electrons in that object's atoms. And yes, this means you've never actually touched anything in your life. You're actually floating just above the chair you're sitting on, thanks to incredibly small electromagnetic forces. Isn't physics fun?